And the Oscar for best win of the season goes to the Toronto Raptors. Oh my goodness. The Toronto Raptors, just a few days ago, their season was over. They slipped to seventh. And suddenly, DeJounte Murray decides to do what he does. The Toronto media do what they do. And this team got kicked. They got kicked. And they come back and they have a signature comeback win against the Phoenix Suns. And then they stomp the Detroit Pistons. Was it a perfect game? No, it was not. That's the beautiful part. This team was shooting 18% from three in the first half and somehow managed to be up double digits in the second half. This is an incredible, incredible, feel good, confidence defining, dream inspiring type of win. I did not react this way when the Raptors beat the OKC Thunder. I did not. There's a lot of shot variance stuff. But in this game, guys did, for the most part, what they were supposed to do. Jakob Poeltl looked really good. Brandon Ingram comes on back-to-back games and looks incredible, participating defensively, but also really doing a great job offensively, apart from a couple of missed reads and, getting stripped by Javonte Green. And, there's a couple of, like we'll look back on the film and we'll correct a few things. But for the most part, man, Ingram played amazing. Incredible defense from RJ Barrett. Second half, first half, off ball awareness, trying to protect the rim, trying to get his hands dirty, trying to at least stay with his guy off the dribble. I think the Raptors have finally found a version of RJ Barrett that can stick around. And that's a really good thing. Good thing for guys like Shannon who love RJ Barrett, but also a good thing for Canada because if this guy can stick around, that's a great thing. That means you do have your small forward of the future. This is the first time I've ever really felt that RJ Barrett could be a part of this because for the last two games, he's really participating defensively. And you know what? He's being physical. He's doing it without fouling. He took on in the second half, he took on the matchup of Cade Cunningham to allow Scottie to be a little bit more rover off the ball. And I just think this is about the best two games of defense I've seen from RJ Barrett as a Toronto Raptor. This is incredible. Obviously, Jakob Poeltl. You got to talk about Jakob Poeltl. Jakob Poeltl was everything you want him to be. Low usage, high efficiency, battling with Jalen Duren is not easy. It's not for the faint of heart. That dude, he nearly knocked Jakob Poeltl out twice. And you have a guy who's a 7-footer who's being paid $20 million to do exactly what Jakob Poeltl did tonight, which is be physical, set screens, roll hard to the basket, present yourself as a target, get on the offensive glass, clean up around the rim, and be efficient. Jakob Poeltl was tough. Jakob Poeltl was efficient. Jakob Poeltl was good defensively. Apart from that foul on Javonte Green, once again, Javonte Green in the corner, but also he's just not capable at this point of being a perimeter-oriented big. So, yeah, Jakob Poeltl near the rim. That's what you want. Jakob Poeltl having his hands active. Jakob Poeltl swiping down. Jakob Poeltl, just protecting the rim a little bit. He's not a big-time shot blocker anymore. But, hey, man, we're seeing better and better versions of Jakob Poeltl as the season moves forward, and this is what you're hoping for. Now, last week in our members live, I talked about how the Raptors really, really could not lay an egg on this game. This game is a where do you want your season to go type of game. It's a pick your own adventure type of game. You come out and you get stopped by the Pistons. You don't look like you belong. Suddenly we got a lot of questions. You slide right back to seventh, but instead the Raptors are not seventh. In fact, let's just do a little bit of a standings check here. Where are the Toronto Raptors after this win? Guess what? The Raptors are back in the playoff picture, and they are half a game behind Orlando. And you will face Orlando soon. So you'll have a chance, and you'll face Miami twice. So you'll have a chance now. You put some separation between yourself and Miami. You are now a half game on above Miami. Just stay here, man. Just stay here. Stay in sixth, fifth. Stay in this area. I have no faith right now in the Cleveland Cavaliers the way they're playing. They just got beat by the Dallas Mavericks who were trying to lose this game. And honestly, the Magic don't scare me. The Raptors are cool. Just don't dip down to 6, 7, 8, where you have to face a team that's probably going to beat you. But hey, you just beat the best team in the Eastern Conference. And you, by the way, you also beat the best team in the Western Conference not too long ago. So, that's pretty cool. But we got to talk about my guy. We got to talk about Scotty Barnes. Oh, by the way, rest in peace, Bill Simmons. He waited for the Raptors to fall to seventh, picking the Raptors to not make the playoffs. Bold move by Bill Simmons, saying the roster didn't make sense. Roster doesn't make sense. Hey, he has a fair point. And the second the Raptors fell to seventh, Bill Simmons releases this little tweet of the top six in the Eastern Conference. Says, can't find the Raptors. Look again. Refresh the page, Bill Simmons. Scotty Barnes. This is one of the best. This is one of the best defensive games I've ever seen from Scotty in my life. And I've seen a lot of really good games. This was a defensive masterclass. It was everywhere. In the first half, he set the tone. Come out, the Raptors pick up a big lead. He goes to the bench. The Pistons go on a 14-3 run. It happens almost every game. At this point, I don't even know what we're doing. The last time the Toronto Raptors faced the Pistons, I just want to show you the box score. The last time the Raptors faced the Pistons, because something very, very similar happened. Now, in that game, the Raptors got smacked by 18. But you will notice something very interesting about that game. It is another game in which Scotty Barnes did not crack 20 points. But as his team got blown out by 18, Scotty was -1. Jakob Poeltl was -2. These two clearly understand how to play against the Detroit Pistons, which is a good thing. But in that game, you didn't get the best of Brandon Ingram. You didn't get the best of RJ Barrett. You got a much better game from Immanual Quickley, and you didn't get a hell of a lot off the bench. But the Raptors have decided we're not playing Grady Dick anymore. And that's pretty good news, because you really can't take yourself seriously if everyone on the team can see that the second this guy comes in, everyone's hunting him, and it puts a lot of pressure and a lot of foul trouble. Scotty's picked up tons of fouls this year trying to protect Grady. So has Jakob. So has CMB. So at this point, you can't defend. We're 3 years into your career. We're just going to go with Jacoby Walter. Jameson Battle didn't get off the bench today either, which is very interesting. The Raptors play a very tight rotation. They don't play again until Wednesday. I will remind you, this is a team, it's the Detroit Pistons team, that has walked through the Eastern Conference. They have 40 wins and 13 losses. They are an incredible away team. Yes, they did not have Isaiah Stewart, but they were relatively healthy. Minus that, the Raptors didn't have CMB, so we'll call it somewhat even. And they're a great away team, 18-7 away. They have beat the Raptors 7 straight games, going back to last season. The Raptors haven't beat this team in, I want to say, 2 years. And here you go. Cade Cunningham comes out. He struggled. Initially, he struggled. Scotty Barnes forced him into turnovers, misses. He just didn't look comfortable. He didn't look comfortable at all. And that was a really big part of how the Raptors built up that lead. Huge part of how the Raptors built up that lead. Tracing out to corner shooters, putting, your worst defender, which, to start was RJ Barrett, on Asar Thompson. Of course, the Raptors do end up fouling Asar Thompson a bunch, but honestly, I think Asar was pretty good tonight. You will look at, hang on. So this is the previous box score. Let's get to today's box score. A very different outcome. So you go from losing by 18, go from losing by 13 to winning by 11. That is a 24-point swing from the last game you lost by 18, right? So you lost by 18. Yo, you know what's so funny? You can't even believe that the Raptors won. So I was just looking at the previous box score and I was just like, yeah, this feels right. This feels right. Okay. In this game, you had Cade Cunningham go off for 33, but it was a hard 33. They forced him into 4 turnovers. He takes 24 shots to get his 33. To keep him from getting to the line double digits, he was -13 tonight. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Typically, the Pistons are a very good team with Cade on the court. Usually. They're usually a very good team with him on the court. Asar Thompson, once again, 4 points. Funny. They do put him into the line. He misses both, 2 for 8. Forced him into some tough shots, but honestly, he's just a really bad offensive player at this point. Duncan Robinson held to 1 point. This is largely because the Raptors did a really good job of limiting his looks. Scottie, in certain possessions of this game, was guarding 3 players at once. There's so many things to be said about Scotty Barnes. Now, if you are a casual basketball observer, 14 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 blocks, 5 offensive rebounds. This is like the most role player statistical outcome that you could possibly imagine. So you're not going to respect this at all. And to you, I say, how are you so casual and yet you watch Pensare basketball? I want to know, how are you this casual? Do you know how many times Scotty Barnes made the pass that led to the pass, or made the pass that led to a clean look, or got an offensive rebound, or boxed out a guy, or prevented a drive just by stunting in the gap, or how many times him being in the paint forced a wide open layup to turn into a pass out to a weak shooter? How many times did something he did result in a turnover, a miss, or transition? How many times defensively did he just absolutely force the clock, milk down, and they get this horrible, horrible look? There's 2 minutes of this game. I watched this game like a hawk. Scotty played 38 minutes in this game. For 36 minutes, in my humble opinion, he was the best player on the court, and it was not close. For 36 minutes. For 2 minutes, which is the end of the second quarter, he was ass. He was absolutely terrible. And he got blown by twice by Cade. And he was just tired, dog tired. Unbelievable defensive effort by him. Unbelievable. People want to ask, how did Bill Russell win this many championships as the best player in the league, and he didn't average 25 points? This is how. Because when you can impact the game in this many ways, there were plays where Scotty was guarding Cade. They would force a switch to get Immanual Quickley onto Cade. Scotty would help on Cade, force the double, force the pass, force an arc to the pass, and then be the guy to close out to the shooter that Cade was passing to. It is truly a mind fuck how active and alert he was today. Honestly, I was exhausted watching him. That's the hardest I think I've seen Scotty play in months. Like, and he plays hard, man. He is a hard worker. But for him to go out, it was like he made a mission in this game. I'm not losing this game. We are not losing this game. I'm not letting my team lose this game. The Pistons are a rare team because this Pistons team, for whatever reason, and I do not know why, they guard Scotty like he's a great player. They guard him like he's a superstar. They blitzed him on doubles time and time and time again. There's 2 or 3 teams in the league that actually do this. OKC occasionally does this as well. Very few teams are going to actively double Scotty Barnes when they have such a good matchup for him in Asar Thompson, and a pretty reasonable matchup for him in Ron Holland, and another reasonable matchup for him in Tobias Harris. If anything, the Pistons, personnel-wise, are designed to stop a player like Scotty Barnes, or at least make him very uncomfortable. For whatever reason, they decided to double anytime he caught the ball inside the arc. If he was outside the arc, they let it go. But the second he crossed the three-point line, they were sending doubles. Why they decided to do this, I don't know. But it got Ingram going. It got Mamu going. It got Jacoby going. Time and time again. This is... And he handled it so well. Even when his teammates didn't make shots, you can go back and count the number of assists that should have been assists. When we look at Scotty Barnes as leading, one of the 3-4 guys who leads the league every year in potential assists, quality of assists, there's a reason for that. Passing is his superpower. Passing is his superpower. And today he did just anything and everything this team needed. And in the second half, he was more of a rim protector because that's what was needed. In the first quarter, when Scotty came in, it was heading into blowout territory. Scotty goes to the bench. Pistons go on a major run. 14-3 over 3.5 minutes. You can take a look at that right here. I can literally show you the game flow of Scotty being in the game versus not being in the game. It is truly ridiculous. Scotty in the game. Boom, 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 boom. Scotty goes to the bench. Flatline. Scotty comes back into the game. Boom, boom, boom. Scotty stays in the game. Scotty goes out, flat line. Scotty comes back into the game. Scotty stays in the game, stays in the game, stays in the game, stays in the game, goes to the bench, a little bit of a flat line, comes back in. We close strong. It was like every shift. And again, apart from this right here, this right here, this is the only bad basketball today that Scotty played. Did he make all his shots? No. He shot 4 for 10. Doesn't matter. I don't care. Okay. They were good shots. He didn't force threes. He was deeply unselfish. Anytime they sent a double or a triple, if it wasn't late clock situation, he was passing it out to the opposite corner. He was manipulative with his passes. There's so many plays where he could have taken an easy shot, but he gave it up to a teammate who had a better shot. And I think this was a moment which really solidifies to me what Scotty Barnes represents and stands for as a basketball player, which is winning. All he wanted today was a win. Didn't care if it meant blocking shots at the rim. Didn't care if it meant being the gap help. Didn't care if it meant being a rim protector, being a pest off the ball, denying Cade the basketball. There's so many plays tonight. You can compile a 12-minute highlight reel of Scotty Barnes just being freaking a menace defensively. I don't know. My generation understood this. I say my generation now, as someone born in the late 80s. My generation implicitly understood this type of value on the basketball court. This generation that basically gets their basketball takes from the Game Time app, they do not. They're going to look at this and say, Cade had 33, Scotty had 14, Cade is incredible, blah, blah, blah. But man, the impact was felt. The impact was so felt tonight. And yeah, shout outs to Cade Cunningham, 33 points. Brandon Ingram, again, like just an overall incredible performance from a patience perspective, from an exploiting the defense perspective, taking what the defense was leaving open to him, being opportunistic, being dynamic, hunting Duncan Robinson over and over. There was so much better court organization today from a discipline perspective, just understanding. There was more of a game plan today. And I think, Darko Rajakovic deserves a little bit of credit. Early in the first half, he had a couple of, I would call it bad substitutions, where I really felt like in this game, you had to match every minute that Scotty played to every minute Cade played because they're just so much better with Cade on the court. And he didn't. And the 2 times Cade was on the court when Scotty wasn't on the court, they went on these major, major runs. And you're just like, we can't sit Scotty too long in this game. In this type of game, you really can't fuck around because they get a couple threes going. Cade gets a couple buckets. He sees the ball go in, and suddenly momentum is on their side. The Raptors did such a good job in this game that anytime the Pistons went on a 4-0 run, 6-0 run, apart from that first quarter, they were able to cut it off right away, get a big stop, call a timeout, disrupt the rhythm. And, again, like this is a Pistons team that's deeper than you, a little bit older than you, definitely bigger than you, stronger than you, more athletic than you across the board. And Paul Reed, the Raptors did a good job. And I think the most impressive thing is the Raptors were the more physical team tonight. They were very physical tonight. They absolutely, this is a team that shot 29% from 3 and won a game. Okay. Yikes. Off the bench, I think you got a very good effort. Nobody broke double digits off the bench. Don't watch that. Don't look at that. Sandro Mamukelashvili, tough as nails. Very good performance from him. Jacoby Walter tried his best. That -8 is merely because he's the one who subbed in for Scotty Barnes in that first quarter, and he's the one that got blown out 14-3. It wasn't his fault. They got blown out 14-3 over that stretch. But basically from that point, like the last 9 minutes were really good for Jacoby. I think Jamal Shed was incredible, especially on a night where, Immanual Quickley, for whatever reason, is plus 14. But man, Immanual Quickley sucked balls tonight. Like he was awful with a capital A, capital W, capital E, capital full. Terrible. Like forcing, not making shots, defensively a little bit. Like he's definitely the one that made the most mistakes defensively. He was so bad. He was so bad. And the fact that the Raptors are able to withstand a 1 for 12 performance from Immanuel Quickley, 1 for 6 from 3, 1 turnover to 7 assists, and honestly, all bullshit assists. Oh, ew. Man, why did you call Jordan and Ox DEI hires? Well, I definitely didn't. Don't ever use my name, bitch. Anyways. Anyways. Um it's such a sad way to look at basketball. It's a sad way to look at basketball. You got bombs like Bam dropping 83 in this era, and Scotty can't even average 20. Scotty was averaging more than Bam prior to Bam's yeah. Anyways, don't worry about it. Jason, you got my permission to ban any trolls, man. We not trying to mess with trolls tonight. But you know, a lot of people are gonna come and troll, because the Raptors got something good going. Prior to the game, Ron, shout outs to Ron, is he hit me up. He hit us all up on the group chat and said, "Are you ready for this Pistons belt to ass?" I looked at my phone and I said, "Let's talk in 1 hour." Like, I don't think so. I definitely didn't think the Raptors were gonna come out and get themselves embarrassed. I really didn't. But I didn't think that they were gonna win this game. I thought maybe they can make it a 2-point game. Sorry, I'm still sick. I had to cough there. It is the Oscars today. The Oscars are starting at 7, so I just wanna let y'all know that we will be having a members live talking about Brandon Ingram and everything that he has done over this game and the past game and how the Raptors are finding him in better spots, talking about how the analytics do not love Brandon Ingram, but how I think that the Raptors can get Brandon Ingram into better spots. So, that will be our post-Oscars members live, and I'm assuming I'm gonna watch a little bit of the Oscars as well, and I've watched quite a few films. So I'll give you like a 10-minute wrap up. And I'm hoping that my wrap up is not going to be me being mad that Michael B. Jordan got robbed for best actor because I really want him to win. Um, yeah, that's just it, man. Like the Pistons are huge. They present a ton of shot blockers. It's a lot of length. It's obviously the type of team that typically Immanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett really struggle against. So that was really cool to see RJ Barrett be as efficient as he was, especially around the rim. Obviously, the Raptors gave up a lot of runs when RJ was on the court, but I don't think he played badly at all. I don't think that +3 is any indication of anything. I think he really played well. But yeah, like to me, game ball, Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, you can split the ball in half, man. One half was offense, one half was defense, and it was just an incredible watch. Like everything in rhythm for Ingram, everything with thought and purpose from Barnes. Like it was just it's so cool to see this team lock in like this, right? And now you're just wondering, can we get consistent bench production? Because the Raptors went 8 deep today. Let's just not even count those 3 minutes that Jonathan Mobo played, in which the Raptors like barely held serve and he got 2 points off of a tip in. Like, this is not sustainable. I don't understand why the Raptors did not break Trace Jackson Davis out of the box today. I mean, this is exactly the type of team that I think you could probably get away with playing Trace like 20 minutes, but the Raptors decide, nope, we're going to play small. They go with Scotty Barnes at the 5. He was the backup 5, the backup 3, the starting 4. He played a lot of positions today. And later down the stretch of this game, I felt like he was playing a lot of point forward, which I really appreciated. And as Quickly really struggled to get a hold of the offense, like there's a lot of times where Ingram's wide open and Quickly is just like hunting his own shot. Quickly really doesn't think, man. Like he really does not think at all. But this Raptors team desperately needs a consistent three punch off the bench. And I think that three punch is probably going to be Jamal Shed, Sandro Mamukelashvili, and CMB. Um, do you think Trace Jackson Davis is still learning the defense, learning the system? So there's a DNP. I don't think so. Trace is a really, really smart player. So for him, to have been here for almost a month now. Like, I really don't get it personally. Like, I don't think so. I really don't. I don't think this is a, oh, Trace just doesn't get our offensive sets because they're so fucking complicated. They're really not. Um, but yeah, nevertheless, Jakob Poeltl, incredible tonight. Scotty, RJ, Ingram, incredible tonight. From the Pistons side, I really do think that Cade was really frustrated tonight. Like, he felt like the Raptors were being super handsy with him. He got like, and he was being held quite a bit. I think Scotty held him a lot. He got bumped on a few drives, didn't get the call. Usually, when you get Mark Davis as the referee, you're almost immediately like, okay, the Raptors are going to get a bad whistle tonight. I don't think the Raptors got a bad whistle tonight. And most of the fouls were legitimate fouls. So it's just Santo saying Pirtle deserves the game chain, in my opinion. Oh, for sure. Give it to him, man. I don't know if he's gotten it all year. He's had a really, really rough year by his standards. So for him to get this would be great. Let's take a look at a few plays. I don't really snap too many, but yeah, like my first tweet was Scotty Barnes has Cade Cunningham in a straight jacket right now. Sadly, 2 minutes from now, he's going to go to the bench, and I'm willing to bet Cade won't. Might have to match minute for minute in a game like this. And literally 2 minutes later, he went to the bench, 4-0 run, 12-3 run, and it was just like, oh my God. So a little bit of a funny ha 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 joke from the pianist, which is Scotty Barnes every time he checks back into the game. Okay. So I made a little bit of a mix. You can see it on Pensare Basketball, and that is Brandon Ingram being the most ethical scorer in the NBA, no foul baiting, just an old school hooper. It is on Pensare Basketball as well. It's a cool little mix. Scotty Barnes registers his 100th, 101st, and 102nd block. Just a heads up, he is the only non 7-footer in the top 5. Hold on one second, y'all. I got a cough. Damn, this cough's gonna be the end of me, man. Damn. Big block by Scotty. I say defense wins championships. When I'm talking about off the ball, are y'all locked into this? Are y'all watching what Scotty is doing to deny Cade the basketball? Boom. This is the type of thing that it just absolutely saying show the Shed's mother. Okay. Jamal Shed with one of the coolest blocks, I think, in Raptors history. Here, super athlete Ron Holland, who was supposed to be, according to some people, the number 1 pick in last year's draft. He is a mega athlete. 3-on-1 fast break. Cade gives it to Ron. Ron is not even thinking about passing to Paul Reed here because he's like, hey, man, I got 5'11 Jamal Shed. And Jamal Shed said, you not going to DeJounte me. I feel like DeJounte Murray deserves a lot of credit for how this team is playing right now. He totally punked them, and it kind of made him wake up. I think DeJounte Murray, when we look back on this season a year from now, I think we're going to say DeJounte Murray might have just sparked We the North Part 2 because this team has been so much tougher, so much more resilient, so much more serious since that event. So, you know what? Shout out to DeJounte Murray. That's great. And then the very next play, we are ending the third quarter. And this is how you want to end a quarter. Boom. Good shit. Midway through the fourth quarter, Scotty Barnes was plus 25. Yikes, man. And here, Brandon Ingram, as he did time and time again, and this is what we're talking about here. These are the types of looks that the Raptors were not able to generate for Ingram earlier in the season because right now you see space. Space is on both sides. This is what is going to, first of all, like just generating this matchup in and of itself is game management. Generating this matchup means the defense has to overreact. So you can already see Cade and Asar are shading into the driving angles to help in case this is anything but a jump shot. But of course, Ingram can hit this jump shot. And that's where the mid range is the lost art in the NBA. You've seen the best players in the league dominate in the mid range. Luka, Shea, Jokic. mid-range assassins, Kevin Durant, right? The Raptors have a couple of really good mid-range players in Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram. Of course, Scotty has not really been himself the last 2 months, but for the most part, I can see a world in which these guys, especially if they're to play together going forward, could be one of the best dynamic mid-range scoring duos in the league. And for the first time in a really long time, twos are actually worth more than threes. So this is a good thing. Like, this is the area of the court that the defense is willing to give up. And hey, man, if they're willing to give it up, just take it. So not a huge film sesh today, but honestly, like, I was just locked into this game. I was just locked into this game. I just wanted to watch it. I wanted to absorb it. I wanted to feel it. And I wanted to see all the minutia, all the details that I would have to wait. Typically I would have to watch the game again to scan it in real time. But when I'm really dialed into a game, when I'm dialed into every possession, when it's like game 7 intensity that I'm watching with, I see it all in real time. And so much of what this game came down to, for me at least, was resiliency, toughness, physicality, and all those small things that really don't show up in the on the box score. Boxing out. So many times the Pistons sent 2, 3 bodies to the offensive glass and got nothing out of it because Jakob Poeltl was there, Scotty Barnes was there, RJ Barrett was there. So many times a guy got beat off a screen, but then the help was right there to close the gap. The gap that was there wasn't there anymore. So many times the Raptors sent 2, 3 bodies to Cade, and he would whip the pass to the corner, and the defender actually recovered to the shooter. This is the type of intensity and defense the Raptors have not played all year. And this is the best defense they've ever played because for the first time, their weakest defender is actually defending. And I think this is where I think RJ Barrett is really the story of the last 2 games. So many people are going to talk about Brandon Ingram's, 68, 69, whatever points he scored, 70 points he scored in the last 2 games. So many people are going to talk about Scotty Barnes' individual defensive heroics, but these things have been happening all year. Ingram's been a scoring machine, and Scotty Barnes has been possibly the second best defender in the entire NBA. But what hasn't been happening all year is RJ taking that matchup personally. RJ at least trying to keep track of his man off the ball. There was a cool little adjustment that the Raptors made after that little 14-3 run that the Raptors went on, which RJ was on the court for that. One of the adjustments they made was they took RJ off of like a movement shooter. Like, they didn't want to put him on Sasser. They didn't want to put him on Duncan Robinson because those guys move a little bit too much. So instead they put him on Cade. And again, like, you have to be so disciplined when you're guarding Cade. He's shifty. He's manipulative. You have to be locked in. You can't. And he also moves without the basketball. He's physical. He's a very physical guard, right? There's so many times where, he was able to manipulate even Scotty Barnes in the open court, get 2 feet in the paint, and boom, explode up for a basket. Cade's really hard to stop. He's so much better. He's so much better than he was 2 years ago right now in terms of controlling pace, but he still has limitations. He's not a great jump shooter. He's not a great jump shooter. The Raptors forced him into taking a lot of jump shots. He's not the greatest three-point shooter. The Raptors forced him into taking a lot of three-point shots. He's not the greatest decision maker when he gets swarmed in unpredictable ways. The Raptors made him uncomfortable in unpredictable ways. They sent double teams from the left and the right. Sometimes they would let him go single coverage. Sometimes they would change the coverage up. They did a great job of no, I agree with you. He is still turnover prone, but he's gotten a lot better at it. He led the entire NBA last year in lost ball turnovers. I don't think he's leading it this year. So, Jaylen Brown, there's a lot of guys who handle high usage possessions and are very turnover prone. Brandon Ingram is an example of a guy who is very turnover prone. Cade is clearly a better passer than Ingram, but I still feel like sometimes he misses it, right? And the Raptors, you didn't have some sort of perfect game. I think that's the coolest thing about this game. There's a lot of games where you just shoot really well and the other team just goes cold. That's not what happened in this game. That's not what happened in this game. You shot cold. They shot above season expectations. They shot better than season average. You shot below your season average, and you still won. That's the coolest part of this game. Your starting point guard went 1 for 12, and you still won. Your max player, your star player, max player, had a kind of soft game offensively, 14 points. You know, it wasn't like some sort of big 32-point explosion from Scotty Barnes. He just took whatever the defense was willing to give him. You're going to double me? Boom. Pass to Jamal Shed, pass to Jacoby, pass to Sandro, pass to RJ, pass to anybody. I think you got a very beautiful look into the future. And the future, Scotty is going to be guarded like this. Scotty is going to get doubled. Scotty is going to get tripled. When he becomes a more controlled, composed scorer, they are going to have to double team him. And at that point, they're going to be sorry, because there's a reason why teams are usually reluctant to, send doubles at Luka or send doubles at Nikola Jokic, because these are guys who see the court so well. They know where the double is coming from. Before you send it, they already know it's coming, and they just, boom, dissect you, right? There's a difference between elite court processors and court processors. Court processors like Immanual Quickley know where the open guy is. Elite court processors like Scotty Barnes know where the right open guy is. They know where the help is. They understand where the help is going to be in 2 seconds. They understand where the shooter wants to be. Again, the Raptors had some sloppy turnovers. There was a turnover between Scottie and Ingram, where Scottie whips the pass to Ingram, and you're like, uh-oh, here we go. It's a 6-point game in the fourth quarter, and Scottie whips the pass to Ingram. Ingram goes the other way. It's a miscommunication. It's not a perfect game. The Raptors missed a ton of threes. That's not a perfect game, by any means. RJ went 1 for 4. Immanuel Quickley went 1 for 6. It's not a perfect game. It's not a perfect game. But you didn't have to play a perfect game, because you out-toughed them, you out-physicaled them, and you beat them in so many metrics. Take a look at the team stats for a second here. The Raptors, I don't even have to look at this. The Raptors get more points in the paint than the Pistons. They have Jalen Duren and Cade Cunningham. You get more points in the paint. That's incredible. They foul more than you, which was so critical. So critical, right? The Raptors led by as many as 14, but they never got down more than 6. So they never allowed the Pistons to get a double-digit lead in this game, period, ever, which is stupidly impressive. Match even for even on the blocks, which is, again, hard to do, because they got some big shot blockers over there in Jalen Duren and off the bench Paul Reed. And you beat them on the steals department. You beat them in the assist department. You out-rebound them by 9. That's the story of the game. You out-rebound them on the offensive glass by 7. You get 20 offensive rebounds against possibly the best rebounding team in the league, one of the best rebounding teams in the league. This is the second best defense in the league. The Pistons are an incredible defense. And you put up 119 points on them while shooting 29% from 3. The second chance points as well. Like, just incredible. So there's so much to be gleaned from this. The Raptors led 72% of the way in this game. So you didn't just sneak a win like you did against OKC, right? You didn't get some hot shooting performance. If you didn't know anything about the Raptors or the Pistons, and you watch this game from start to finish, not knowing who any of these players are, not knowing the records of these two teams, you would say the Raptors are the championship contender. The Pistons are the up-and-comer. That's the mic drop moment. That's my mic drop statement of the day. The Raptors did not shoot better. They are not better. They played better. They played harder, and they played like a championship team. And I'm not saying what Brandon Ingram is doing right now is sustainable, because if it were, he would be like the 6th best player in the league. But if some of this is sustainable, if nothing else, if the process of how he's getting offense right now is sustainable, then I have to say the Raptors have a puncher's chance to get out of the first round in the Eastern Conference. They really do. Because Orlando is, as well as Desmond Bane is playing right now, as much as I believe in Jalen Suggs, as much as I think when Anthony Black and when Franz Wagner come back, that this can all get so much better. And yeah, they're a little bit scary. I'm really only scared of like 3 teams in the Eastern Conference right now. I really am. And one of them, you looked thoroughly better than. So just an incredible game. Like I feel happy. Like I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I feel really happy. Proud, really. Proud of this team. Proud of my franchise player, proud of my, Brandon Ingram, 70 points over the last two games after failing to crack 14 against Minnesota, Dallas, Houston. And then the Raptors have that season embarrassment where I say, this is rock bottom, right? This is rock bottom. That was the post game live after New Orleans. I said, this is rock bottom. Getting beat by 11 against New Orleans, and it was really closer to 20 before, some stat padding late. That felt like rock bottom. And you know what? The Raptors have responded. Two convincing wins against two really formidable opponents and two teams that are frankly ahead of you in the standings. Like if you look at like what's ahead for the Raptors, could you go on a 5-game win streak? Could you go on a 7-game win streak right now? Can we go on a 7-game win streak? Can we beat Chicago, beat Denver, beat Phoenix, beat Utah, beat LA? LA just lost last night. Kawhi Leonard just got hurt. He is injured with an ankle sprain. The Denver Nuggets just lost to the Lakers. They are washed defensively. The Raptors have always played the Denver Nuggets very close, very, very close. If you can get RJ Barrett to buy in defensively and just put him on Jamal Murray at least occasionally, or put him on Christian Brown and he doesn't get killed off the ball. If RJ Barrett is willing to dial in defensively and Brandon Ingram is willing to play without the basketball the way that he is right now, like whatever the hell was said in that team meeting, because you know what? This is the thing. Do y'all remember a couple, like it was 2 games ago, right? When the Raptors lost to the Pelicans and there was all this talk about how we talked about it. We talked about it and, we're good to go or whatever. I don't know who led that meeting. I have a streaking suspicion I know who did, but I don't know who said what. But whatever was said in that meeting, this team has responded to whoever said it. I'm going to guess that one of the things that was said in that meeting was that Brandon Ingram needs to get off the ball quicker. I think, based on how Brandon Ingram has responded over the last 2 games, I believe he was challenged by at least one of his teammates. I also believe that Scotty Barnes was challenged defensively, or that Scotty Barnes challenged others defensively to participate and is now feeling the onus to show up as the team's defensive quarterback. Last game, Scotty was giving Brandon Ingram and RJ Barrett a lot of props for showing up defensively. I think somebody on this team definitely called out RJ Barrett defensively, because there's no way in hell the player that I'm watching the last 2 games has been on this team the entire season. Like again, I'm just telling you the straight up facts. I watch RJ Barrett like a hawk every fucking game, and he makes 20 to 35 mistakes in every game, and that's an average game. There are games where he makes 60 mistakes, and those are really bad games. There are games where he makes 15 to 20, and those are good games. So if he's closer to 30, it's an average game. If it's closer to 20, it's a good game. If it's closer to 40, it's a bad game. And it's just like, I think I counted 4, 5 today. 6. Shit, Scotty made 6 defensive mistakes. You want to be that? Like, I mean, I'll have to go back and look at it again, but like, my God, like RJ Barrett, again, not the most physically gifted defender by any means, not fleet of foot. He's not going to catch anyone in a sprint race. He's not going to block someone at the rim. There's certainly things to clean up for sure, but like fighting over screens, putting a chest into somebody when they drive into you, cutting off the angle, being intelligent, playing defense without fouling, get your hand up. Like this is all I've ever wanted from RJ Barrett, man. This is incredible. And to think, like, 4 days ago, I was like, you know what? We need to bring RJ Barrett off the bench. Shit. Nope. Might want to bring Immanual Quickley off the bench after this shit. But honestly, this team's playing great. This team is playing great basketball right now. This is very inspiring to watch. And I would love to see this team go on a 5-game win streak right now. They were challenged. They were humiliated. They were talked about in a very negative light. They lost the 5th seed and got down to 7. Clearly, the alarm bells have gone off for this team, and they have responded in the most mega way the last 2 games. And I just can't wait to see how this looks with CMB on the court, because with CMB back on the court, hopefully in the next couple of games, hopefully we can get him back before Denver. That is gonna be a game changer for this team, because there's so many minutes right now where you're maybe having to overplay Scotty, or your defense cannot survive without Scotty. Whereas I think now that they don't have to start together, they can sub for each other. So now when Scotty goes to the bench, it's not Jacoby coming in, it's CMB. And he is your second best defender. Let's just not even mince words right now. Colin Murray Boyles is your second best defender on this team. It's not particularly close. And if you're going to have CMB out there, I think he can do a lot of the same stuff that Scotty does defensively. He can plug in a lot of the same gaps. He's still a pretty good defender. He's still a great, he's a pretty good rebounder. He's a really good screen setter. I mean, he's not a great screen setter. He's getting better at it, but he's active on the glass. He can't shoot. That's fine, right? Trace is never going to play here with CMB and Mobo getting better. He's straight up insurance big. Well, if you're heading into the playoffs, having an insurance big is going to be a really big deal, I would say. All right. It's valuable. It's valuable as hell to have a player who can just plug in 15 minutes off the bench. You don't know Jakob Poeltl's back. A lot of people, there was so much fear, doom and gloom around it. I watched some pretty smart, plugged in people who were making fun of the fact that Jakob Poeltl was basically going to be medically retiring, and there was so much disinformation about it. Not even misinformation, disinformation. It was actively inaccurate information talking about how Jakob Poeltl was going to be done for the season. Jakob Poeltl's never coming back. And some very plugged in media people were openly mocking whether Jakob Poeltl will come back at all this season. Oh, I'm hearing this, I'm hearing that. I heard from a source that I very much trust, and I told him to recheck his sources because I'd heard something else from somebody else that I really, really trust. But he said, I don't think Jakob Poeltl's coming back this season. And I said, who told you that? Again, with all this disinformation and misinformation out there, it's no wonder the Raptors couldn't get anything for him. But if he keeps playing like this, the Raptors are a very different team. So yes, again, there was a period of time when Immanual Quickley was playing well and almost everybody else was playing poorly. I want to say 10 games ago. And right now, we're seeing Barrett put together back to back good games. This is I think 4-5 good games in a row for RJ Barrett. We are seeing Scotty Barnes take an incredibly low volume role offensively, but also starting to kick it back up into gear defensively the last 2 games. We are seeing Jakob Poeltl look more mobile, more nimble. In every single game, he shows you something new that he hasn't shown you in a few months. Brandon Ingram is obviously playing the best basketball I've ever seen him play. I mean, I don't even think that's hyperbole. This 2-game stretch right here, this might be the 2 best games he's ever played back to back. Is that crazy to say? No, that might be crazy to say. There was a stretch in New Orleans where he was doing this shit 3-4 times a year. But if he follows it up with another one like this would be the best 3-game stretch of his career. I'm willing to bet on it. He's playing winning basketball. Ingram is playing winning basketball right now. I want to show you something. This is a little tease from the members live later. This is to give you an idea of just how incredible it is that Brandon Ingram is doing what he's doing. So this is who Ingram's been on the season. So this is every single player who made an all-star team ranked out by value of replacement today. So this is prior to today's game. Notice something very interesting about this little list. Obviously, believe it or not, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 are literally the top 10 VORP leaders in the league. I think there's maybe 11, 12. The first guy who didn't make the All-Star team was probably Derek White. He had a 3.1. I think there's 2 or 3 guys who missed it, and then it's Scotty Barnes at 16 or whatever. But here, Scotty Barnes is 13th, Giannis 14th, Brunson, Jaylen Brown. Oh, whoops, my graphic. Jaylen Brown B, my bad. Denny Avdia, Alperen Şengün, Jalen Duren. Brandon Ingram's all the way at the bottom here. all the way at the bottom. So that is to give you an idea that no, the analytics are not lying. There's not a single analytic that I could find that likes Brandon Ingram right now. But the last 2 games, I will guarantee you those analytics are looking very different, because this is exactly like, if you're going to be the type of player who takes shots that are analytically proven or provably inefficient, mid-range pull-ups, contested off 2 dribbles, if you're going to play the game, if you're going to play the city game in the NBA, Michael Beasley style, Carmelo Anthony style, Kobe Bryant style, you have to be stupidly efficient to do it. You don't have to be a hyper efficient analytics darling. Like, Derek White is shooting worse from the field, worse from 3, I think, than Brandon Ingram. He is still an analytics darling. He is a crazy analytics darling. Why? Because the analytics love the shots that Derek White takes. He takes layups and he takes threes. Ingram takes mid-range pull-ups, takes a lot of them, and he doesn't make a lot of them. You know, he turns the ball over recklessly, and he doesn't usually provide a positive stimulus defensively. And so all of those things combined make the analytics think that Brandon Ingram is basically taller Cam Thomas, but he's not. And I think the last 2 games have proven that. And if teams are going to blitz Scotty Barnes, Ingram is going to destroy them. If teams are going to have Dylan Brooks out and they don't have a reasonable matchup for Ingram, Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram are going to destroy you. And I think RJ Barrett has perfectly found that little low usage, high volume role right in the middle of those 2 guys. And it's just working out beautifully. You have 3 players, one of whom was a 2nd overall pick, one of whom was a 3rd overall pick, one of whom was a 4th overall pick, one of whom actually leads his entire draft class in points, which is RJ Barrett. The other one is a 2-time All-Star, and the other one is a 2-time All-Star. And yet, when you listen to people say it, the Raptors don't have a good young core. Do the Raptors have a good young core? Well, all 3 players I just mentioned are in their 20s. Brandon Ingram, at least, has missed a ton of time due to injuries, which would give you some belief that maybe down the line he will have a longer shelf life. And also, for all the people saying, I really regret trading for Brandon Ingram, we should have tanked, et cetera, I will say this. I was very pro Ingram trade at the time it happened. Extremely pro. You'll notice a lot of people in the Toronto media were not very pro. I was extremely pro. And even a couple of days ago, as the Ingram criticism ramped up to the highest, and I openly entertained that maybe the Raptors could look to trade him this offseason, I remain steadfast in this idea that the best of Ingram is yet to come, that I still think that this team hasn't really gotten the best of Ingram. Now, I think the 3 real questions for the Raptors going forward over the next couple of weeks. Number 1 is, how can we unlock Immanual Quickley? Typically, games with Quickley and Pirtle, when Pirtle is playing well, and Quickley usually plays well off of him. So we'll consider today a bit of an outlier performance, although Quickley has had quite a few of these. He doesn't really have a lot of counters when his shot isn't going, but just a bad touch game from Immanual Quickley. A lot of length, a lot of size. I'm assuming he wishes he could have this one back, and he'll probably bounce back really well against Chicago. Not a great defensive team. So obviously, getting Quickley back to an off-ball role where you run the offense a little bit more. If you notice today, we saw a lot more point Scotty, point RJ, which was good. So having Quickley play a little bit more off the ball, I think getting his shot going will be very important. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, can we get back to the Scotty Barnes, who is a little bit more efficient, a little bit more comfortable taking shots offensively? I do think in the long run, I don't really care if Scotty averages 18 or 22. If he's playing this kind of defense, I don't care if he averages 13 points per game. He's been incredible. That being said, I do think this team is at its best when he's touching the basketball. So maybe we don't necessarily get 22, 23 point per game Scotty this year. Maybe that'll have to wait till next year. But can we get Scotty still gets the most touches? Scotty. Can we get the Scotty who is in the middle of the offense? Because so many times today, I felt that when they involved him in the middle of the floor, it was a connective pass down or it was a streak up. That pass that he made to Jakob Poeltl in transition was absolute chef's kiss. The pass he made to Mamu, the pass he made to RJ. He made so many passes today that'll make your head spin. and they're all highly manipulative, accurate passes, right? So getting him the basketball to facilitate for others, even a nice little swing, to Mamu. Like these passes are what get guys going. This is what gets the rhythm going. This is what gets your offense going. Sometimes it's just like a simple skip to the opposite corner or a side top side pass. Like he just has intuitively a great understanding of how to bend and shift defenses. He's the only real point guard in that starting lineup. And so for him to just get the ball, I'm not saying, run 15 pick and rolls with him, but like just get him the ball at some point. Like get him the ball in a possession, get him the ball at the elbow, get him the ball, get him a touch in the paint, get him involved in a screen, pass, flex, like do something for him. So that will be interesting to see if he can get it going offensively because since RJ's been back in the lineup, Scotty's averaging like 15 points per game. So that's got to change. I think we got to get closer to 20. Like we got to get back up to 18, 19, 20 regularly. We just can't keep having these 14, 15 points per game. And then the third thing is the CMB return. What does that do for your bench? What does that do for your rotation? Does anyone get bounced out? Did the Raptors go super big off the bench? Because you definitely have Mamu and you're not icing him out. And you have CMB and you're not icing him out. And you have Jamal Shed and you're not icing him out. Is Jacoby going to get iced out? Are the Raptors going to play Scottie at the 2 when CMB plays to the 4? Are the Raptors going to continue playing Jacoby? Does this mean Grady is completely out? What about Jameson Battle? Is there some flexibility there? Would the Raptors go Scottie as the backup 1 and maybe consider playing Jacoby or Grady over Jamal Shed? I don't know. But it seems the Raptors are happy to roll out with eight-man lineups. They've been going 8 deep for a little while now. Like this has happened. Earlier in the season, we were seeing Darko go to 10, 11. We're now going 8, 9 every night. 8, 9, 8, 9. And sometimes it's an alternating 8. So maybe the first half it'll be Grady and the second half it'll be Jameson, but it's almost always a rotation of 8. I have one more question, obviously, which is can we consider making a change to the lineup substitution patterns of Scotty getting 3 shifts? I don't know if it's necessarily helping him. He came up gimpy a lot today. There's like 3 different plays where he came up hobbling, hurt, holding his hand. It happens every single game at this point. I think some people are just numb to it. They're just like, oh, that's just Scotty overreacting. I don't think he's overreacting, dude. I think this is a guy with a crazy pain threshold, and I think that he's just not right. He hasn't looked right physically for a while now. But every once in a while, he'll make this heroic block or he'll deter something at the rim or he'll have some big dunk and people will be like, see, he's fine. Dude, I don't think he's fine. Like, I really don't. Like, I'm watching between timeouts and shit. I'm listening to people who go to games and they're sending me email on email, like between timeouts. Oh my God, he's getting rest, recovery. He's getting wrapped. He's having massage done on him. Like, this is a guy who's playing hurt. So he's been playing hurt for about a month now. They're not really talking about it. At one point, Darko let it slip, like, oh. So my concern at this point is when CMB comes back, do you give Scotty a couple of games to just rest? Can you just get him like a couple to rest? Can you maybe against a weaker opponent, maybe run him out for 25, 27 minutes? Right? Like at this point, I'm gonna be honest, the defensive player of the year trophy, as much as I want Scotty to win it, and we will make video after video petitioning for him to win it, the league is going to give that trophy to Victor Wembanyama if he qualifies. Sorry to say. Scotty has almost as many stocks as Wemby, but Wemby is a generational defender, and even I am not stupid enough to argue that Scotty Barnes is a better defender than Victor Wembanyama. I'll argue anybody else in the league, but not Wemby. So, okay. So if we're running for DPOY, and since first team is pretty much locked up, what do you have to lose by resting a couple of games? It's not like Wemby hasn't missed over 10 games. So I know Scotty's such a competitor. He always wants to play. Shout outs to BMAC. Brian was in attendance today at the game. They showed him on TV. That was pretty cool. I was just like, wait a second. I know that guy. That's cool. Michael Balfour said, I want to know the players who have a higher workload than Scotty. Who has more responsibility overall in the NBA? Probably Wemby. I think Victor Wembanyama, Scotty Barnes, Shea. I think if we're talking like just straight up responsibility, Jokic, like these are the guys have like the most responsibility. Sum total, offense, defense, plus, right? Like they have a huge responsibility. But Scotty's played more games than all of them. Red Salute saying Giannis. I guess since Giannis has so much more of a load offensively, yeah, you could say Giannis. I think Scotty's so much better defensively right now than Giannis and Embiid. You know, frankly, I think he's better than Chat. That's crazy to say, dude. I did not walk into the season thinking Scotty Barnes was a better defender than Chet Holmgren. Scotty Barnes has been better than every defender on the OKC Thunder this year. Like it's truly magnificent. That's why it was so glaring when he wasn't trying or wasn't like doing a great job defensively because I'm so used to it now. Um, it's obviously not sustainable. Scotty works so much harder than everybody else defensively. Like that's the thing. Like there are some guys who are great defensively because they have incredible instincts, incredible physical gifts. And trust me, Scotty has incredible instincts and incredible physical gifts. But right now, he's not getting by on incredible instincts and physical gifts. He's getting by on incredible motor, incredible focus, awareness, IQ, pattern recognition, plus, you know, so it's like if Wemby and Scotty are racing towards DPOY, Wemby is jogging, Scotty is sprinting. And that is really the difference at this point. Like Victor Wembanyama has to turn on his defensive focus for like 4 minutes a game and he'll sleepwalk to like 5. You know, he'll sleepwalk to 5 blocks and 2 steals and 14 rebounds. Scotty has to try for his, right? And I think there's something good about that. Like to when you say like the tryhards, right? Like there is something commendable about how hard Scotty works, but also because he has to work so hard and he's such a huge human being, like you have to consider the mileage, the toll on his body that it takes. And also when you look at other great defenders, Asar Thompson, Victor Wembanyama, they all play with other great defenders. Okay? Carter Bryant is an awesome defender. Steph Castle is an incredible defender. De'Aaron Fox is a much better defender than Immanuel Quickley. Luke Cornett's a pretty decent defender. Devin Vassell's all right, I guess. Keldon Johnson's all right. Harrison Barnes is all right. But Steph Castle is an incredible defender, man. Like, so, you know, like you give Scotty a Steph Castle instead of a RJ Barrett defensively. Like we're talking about the workload goes down a lot, right? So at this point, I think CMB coming back would be the best thing for Scotty and also hopefully a great thing for CMB as well. We don't know what CMB is yet. Honestly, we really don't. With young players, there's unpredictable growth spurts all the time, right? There's late game, late season, like, oh, I didn't know he could do that. Like that shit happens all the time with players under 25. And CMB's proven to be a very hard worker. So we don't know. Like for the last 15, 20 games we saw him, the thumb was really bothering him. Right. So he wasn't taking as many shots. Maybe his touch around the rim wasn't being impacted. Maybe he was holding back a little bit defensively. So I think a fully unlocked CMB changes the entire calculus for what the Raptors can be defensively. And I think him coming back, most importantly, will help Scotty Barnes conserve some legs for offense. Does CMB have a higher ceiling than Jacoby? Yes. Uh, KP7 with the super chat said franchise players don't guard best players anymore. Well, we just saw it today, so let's be happy about that. Cast2929, member for 5 months. Shout outs to you. Let's effing go. Love it. And Gavin Van Wold, member for 6 months, said, biggest W of the season. Let's effing go. Hey, man. Absolutely no contest. This is the best win of the season. This feels substantial because it is not a fluke. It feels double substantial because I think everything the Raptors did tonight is sustainable. And if you can beat this team, you can definitely beat any team. You really can. If you can do this, Decade, and the Pistons, and you can hold Jalen Duren, that man child, off the glass the way that we did, and you can out rebound this team, and you can sustain this type of night from Immanuel Quickley and this type of shooting performance from Scotty Barnes. I don't know, man. Oh, for sure. Because of when it's coming in the season, against who it's against, how healthy they are versus how healthy the OKC Thunder were. Absolutely. The Raptors have now beat the OKC Thunder and the Detroit Pistons. So much for the whole like, oh, we can't beat any good teams. Beat the two best teams. Agreed. I'm trying to read more. Any good sports books? Feel free to send them some suggestions, man. I really can't think of any sports books typically the off of my head. I read more sports articles than books. It's worth thinking about. Have I read like a really great basketball book lately? Tony is saying was at the game. They wanted it more and executed the Cade game plan. I really felt that come through the screen. Like, I really felt like this team came out and said, "We're winning this game," and it mattered so much more to us than it did to them. Um, for sure, for sure. I felt that. I felt that absolutely. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. ACNS for Goo said Raptors would suck without Ingram. Yeah. Rob, are you gonna be at the Scotiabank for the playoffs? No, man. I got post games to do at the playoffs. But if the Raptors make it past the second round, I'm sure I'll go to at least one game. We got a mortgage to pay off, man. I'm trying to afford like $400, $500 seats. But I'll tell you what, like if they go to like a game 7 or a game 6 in the second round, I'm definitely gonna find a way to be there for sure. Do teams have more of a star-centric system or a well-rounded system? I don't understand this question at all. Sorry. This might just be a grammatical thing. I just can't understand it. Tyler Tyler one later too said, "Have you been to a game this year?" No, I have not. I have not. I've been offered to go to 3 games. I will be going to 1 game this year, I think, which will be the last game of the season against Brooklyn. So, you're gonna get a delayed post game on that game. But yeah, for the most part, I have not been honestly, like, the last 4 months, I haven't wanted to go out very much, partially because my face was all swollen and I just felt like curling into a ball and, melting into my couch. But now I'm feeling a lot better, feeling a lot healthier. Uh, so yeah, enjoy your Oscar night. Absolutely. The Oscars start in, I want to say 5-10 minutes. So I'm looking forward to seeing it, see how many awards sinners can get. Red Salute saying endless winter equals stay in. Yeah, I love the winter. That's probably why I live in Toronto. I love snow. I love the winter. It's just been like the past 4 months prior to Pendants was just like very physically and emotionally very draining for me personally. And I just didn't want to be around people. But now I do want to be around people. Now I want to go grab coffee with everybody. Now I want to go dinners and, concerts and movies. And I want to go everywhere. So yeah, it's going to be a lot more fun. But right now I am a little bit sick. So I don't want to go anywhere because I don't want to get anyone sick. But hopefully in a couple of days, I will feel a lot better. The girl from Sinners lost just now. Best supporting actress? Oh no. That sucks. Sorry. Guy Farrell. Troubled by whose tantrum? Cade? Scotty? Who are you talking about? lost to the girl from Weapons. The old white lady from Weapons? Oh, I think Winmi was way better than her. Oh, well. C'est la vie, man. I guess. But, yeah, it's interesting. Yo, Rob, have you watched The Chi or The Shy? No, I haven't. If that's a TV show, I don't watch a lot of TV shows. I just got into Rookie Blue, and I'm pretty sure that show came out in 2014. Red Salute said, didn't think the Oscars started this early. Okay. Well, I will catch y'all after the Oscars. Whenever the Oscars ends, like 5 minutes later is when the members live is going to start. We will be talking, as I mentioned before, the members live. We will be talking about Brandon Ingram, everything that Brandon Ingram did against Phoenix. I'll see if during the Oscars I have time to cut a little bit of tape in for this game as well. And we'll just take a look. Is there something different happening that hasn't been happening all year? How can the Raptors continue to get looks like this for Ingram? Because I'm telling you right now, when Ingram gets going, this whole thing opens up. And again, man, so many clean looks for Quickley tonight. So many clean looks for RJ tonight from 3. Clean looks for Jacoby. Clean looks for Jamal Shad. If this team can figure out this shooting shit in the offseason, if they can get 2 shooters to replace 2 non-shooters right now, it's a wrap. Like, this is going to be a good team next year. So, yeah, big win, man. Big win for the Raptors. I'm very excited. I'm very happy. And, best win of the season, man. I'm excited. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Make sure to hit like on this video, hit the hype button, whatever you got to hit. And I will check y'all after the Oscars with my post-Oscar wrap-up and a members live for the members on Brandon Ingram. All right. Peace.